In the interest of looking up, um, the terminology like the door, behold, I stand at the door and knock, ask, seek, knock. Behold, I have set before thee an open door which no man can shut. This is, of course, all in the context of uh, looking to a specific location. And as we go through and sift through the eyewitness testimony of Enoch, you're going to find out that that is exactly the foundation upon which Messiah was expounding, not only as to his departure, but his return. When we are commanded to look up, it's not just a mental assent to embrace the idea, yeah, this kind of is the last days at a certain time, and to kind of rightly discern that. That's a good step. That's a step that a lot of people never make it to. But better still to be found faithful, sober, vigilant, watching, not sleeping, and not irresponsible, and as those who would be drunk, and again, the all nighttime terminology here. As we continue to look up, literally, we're going to not only be looking up at a specific time and day or date, but also at a specific location, and that to the east and the north. And before we get to the more detailed aspects of looking up at a specific point of light and the twinkling of an eye, I'm stressing this terminology, hoping in doing so, it pulls to memory and recollection different passages in the scriptures that you can go look up as well, regarding the good admonition from Paul and the disciples and the Messiah himself about being a watchful servant, not a lazy, slothful servant. Again, back to Enoch chapter 33 and 1. Enoch proceeds to the ends of the earth, and I saw there great beasts, and they differed each from the other, and birds also differing in their appearance and their beauty, and their voices differed each from the other. To the east, now elsewhere in Enoch he says east is the first quarter of the four quarters of the earth. The word first is Rishon. It's connected to the word Rosh, which means head, and also Bereshit, which means beginning. So a head first. Clearly, it is a reference to not only the physical head of all men seated in a location in the heavens, but also our own head and our own face, and the first part of us. The wise man's eyes are on his head, it says. So we are to look up. And to be wise and vigilant like wise men who saw hashtag his star rising in the east. And so the sign of his coming, again, drawing inference to Matthew chapter 24. There are going to be a couple times we look for that. There's one where he comes in judgment to destroy and to lay waste. And that at the third hour of the third day, hashtag third hour, hashtag third day. And then yet another time where he comes as a thief in the night, hashtag thief in the night. That's a literal coming where he comes as a thief to those who are not slothful, who do not allow their house to be broken into unaware, because they are waiting for the good man of the house to return, being vigilant like at a Passover event, and other night watches, which we will look at as well. And again, I look forward to your participation and things that you're shown. This is a group effort, and in all manner of brotherly love. If you're being shown things that add to the conversation, please don't hesitate to chime in on that. But the eastern quarter is the first of them. Then the next one is the south. The southern quarter is where it says elsewhere in Enoch that the Most High descends, and also the King, the righteous King of peace, which is of course Messiah. To the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth. on which the heaven rests, and the gates of heaven open. Behold, I have set before you an open door, or an open gate. That's what the Messiah said. I saw how the stars of heaven, wise men recognized hashtag his star, come forth. And I counted the gates from which they emerge, and I wrote down all their outlets one by one, according to their number and their names, according to their conjunction and their position and their time and their months, even as Uriel, which means the angel of God over the light. That's like Ur of Chaldees, from where Abraham left. That holy angel in charge of the luminaries, of course, was with Enoch and showed him these things. Verse 4, he showed me and wrote down for me everything, and also he wrote down their names and their moedim, their appointed times, and their functions. Then he said, from there I proceeded to the north. So Enoch sees the first quarter first, which is the east, and then he talks about the north at the ends of the earth, and there I saw great and glorious wonders at the ends of the whole earth, and I saw, check this out, 3 gates of heaven open, from which the winds in the north emerge. Now, elsewhere toward the end of in the book of the luminaries, rather, Enoch goes into far greater detail about what occurs at each of these coordinates, east, south, west, north, of course. And he talks about the location from which the winds emerge. And respective to each of the coordinates, he numbers the winds according to 3 for a total of 12. East, south, west, and north, 3 in each, 12 total. And he describes the first of the 3 winds as toward the south, like east and somewhat southerly. And then and it says in a very direct or hashtag straight way, the eastern wind approaches through the middle of the gates. Again, 3 gates to the east, windows. And the one on the bottom is somewhat southerly, then a straight one, hashtag straight way, and then one that's a little bit northerly. And then that same scenario, like 3 in the east, let's see here, 3 in the north, and then over, this is backwards, so 3 over here, and then 3 down here. 12 total for the 4 quarters of the earth. He describes those. I saw 3 gates of heaven open in the heaven, from them the winds in the north emerge. When they blow, there's cold and hail and frost and snow and dew and rain. Now watch what he does. He divides like he does in the east elsewhere in detail in the book of the luminaries. Look at what happens. This is very, very important and not to be overlooked. If I said to you that when Messiah comes to destroy, to lay waste, his own words affirm this, by the way, in the canonical sources and the apostolic writings, would that be a thing you would consider good for the purpose of prosperity, or would that be something that would be destructive for the purpose of laying waste? It's important when you read what he says. Through one of these gates blow for good, and when they blow through 2 of them, they blow with violence, and there's affliction on the earth. So when he returns for good and not to harm, but to take that which is his to a place that is good, he comes through the gate and is carried by the wind, which carries the luminaries themselves through the gates that are the aforementioned gates that are called good. And so in the interest of hanging on his words, we wouldn't expect him to come through the good gate to bring drought and destruction and lay waste and destroy. And so there's, again, the coming to claim what is his when he comes like a thief in the night, which is good for the people that are watching and sober and vigilant, the ones that are not sleeping. And then, as we find out in Enochic testimony, there's yet another one when he comes to lay waste and destroy from the east at the 3rd hour of the 3rd day, which we'll go into more detail about that later. And that, no doubt, is through a different gate. Anyway, moving on to the next one. He says, from there I proceeded to the west. So he's gone to the east here, and he's looked at the north, and now he's going to look at the west. At the ends of the earth, and I saw 3 gates of heaven open again. And I saw in the east the same number of gates as I saw in the other outlets. So again, they mirror one another. From there I proceeded toward the south at the ends of the earth, and I saw 3 gates of heaven open. And from there the south wind and dew and rain emerge. Messiah said, he basically quotes from this passage in the apostolic writings as though it was a common saying, and the people to whom he speaks were supposed to understand. He says, and I'm paraphrasing, do you not say when the south wind blow there cometh heat and things of that nature? Which is exactly what Enoch said before him, of course. From there I proceeded, now this is the crux of it. From there I proceeded toward the east. At the ends of the earth, watch the differentiation here. From there I proceed relative to the other quarters of the earth, that namely west, north, and south. From there I proceeded toward the east, at the ends of the earth, and there I saw, watch this, 3 gates of heaven open toward the east, and above them small gates. Guys, this is very, very, very important. Through each of these small gates pass the stars of heaven, and they proceed westward on the path that is shown them. All right, notice what happened. He did not say that regarding the little gates that are above the windows through which the wind blows in the other coordinates. He differentiates in the eastern quarter regarding little gates above the ones through which the wind blows, where also the stars of heaven pass as they proceed westward on the path that is shown them. And then he closes and he says, and when I saw, I blessed, and I shall always bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders to show his great deeds to his angels and to the spirits of human beings, so that they might see the work of his might and glorify the deeds of his hands and bless him forever. Now, I know that might seem a little bit arduous, and if you're concerned about your Netflix subscription and things of that nature, and what's on at the buffet Sunday after church, that might be rather bothersome and boring. Maybe you even got up and walked up and got a snack during these words. But after that party is over, and the king of the north descends through the mountains of Syria, the mountains dividing Syria into Israel, through Golan, through Samaria, and news from the east and the north trouble him, and he crosses over to his stronghold for fear. If you are still alive in that day, I would venture to guess that these words might be very, very important to you, because the one coming from, having been raised up from the north and the east, Messiah, coming back in round 2 to slay the wicked by the spoken word of his mouth from the east and the north, well, that might have a place in your heart then. But I know right now we have a lot of excess that needs to be hammered out, and boy, aren't we seeing that falter quickly here in the western quarter, where all luminaries wane and go down, as Enoch stated. Bless you guys.